Thanks for doing the interview. So, how did you first get into music?
Well, I always sang. I was in chorus, school plays, shows all through grade school. Myself, along with 25 other kids, was selected for the orchestral music program in the 6th grade, and we were placed in the orchestra in middle school. I played clarinet, then the oboe, then back to clarinet, which I found boring as hell. When the Beatles and the whole British invasion came, Hendrix, Clapton, and my hero, Jeff Beck, came on the scene, it was off to the races for me.
How so?
Well, I started with guitar at the age of 11 in the 7th grade, but when Jeff Beck appeared in the scene, I was hooked for life, and it was then I decided to pursue music professionally.
Wolfman.
So what came next for you after this decision to be a pro musician?
Well, I played in every type of rock band, folk, blues, and R&B band imaginable. I cut school to go to jam sessions all day and night. I grew up with a lot of very talented musicians in a very musical era and culture in New York City. When I was 18, I met my lifelong mentor and friend Larry Coryell at a gig with his new band, The 11th House. What a band, what a night. Changed my life forever. So Larry gave me his number and a little matchbook, and the next weekend I was at his house in Connecticut for my very first lesson, and I became Larry's protege.
What was the most exciting and beneficial part of your whole experience in New York City during that time? And do you think it's contributed to what you've offered your students over the years and up to now?
Wow, great question. At that time, I was getting to know all the great studio musicians and all the people performing in New York City. I was doing recording sessions, work in Manhattan, and at night I was hanging at all the clubs. 4 to 6 nights a week I was at concerts, clubs, jams, or at major recording sessions watching my mentors make records. I was practically living with Hiram Bullock, the original guitarist for the David Letterman Show band. I was hanging with Hiram and then met bassist Will Lee, guitarist Joe Beck, bassist Mark Egan from Athene's band, drummer Steve Jordan, Mike Stern, Dave Sanborn, and drummer Victor Lewis. I took lessons with Steve Kahn, who was playing with the Brecker Brothers, keyboardist Don Grolnick, drummer Steve Gadd, and then Chick Corea, Lenny White, Al Di Meola, and many more. I remember hearing Alan Holdsworth in his very first gig with Tony Williams' Lifetime in the Village at the Village Gate on Bleecker Street. My purpose here is not to be dropping names, by the way, and there are lots more, but rather to convey that I was in an incredibly intense learning environment, which benefited me not only as a musician, but as a teacher. I mean, I'd like to think that the second part of your question, what I bring to the table, how this is beneficial to my teaching over the years for my students, I'd like to think the answer to that is somewhat self-explanatory. It's a whole sensibility, I got to get so much information and nurturing, get so many questions answered, do's and don'ts in terms of performing, recording in the studio, reading music, things about applying music theory to your practice regimen, practice routine, whole mindset. I mean, I was around the best of the best during a renaissance in a really, really rich musical culture in New York City at that time. I definitely believe it's helped me teaching immensely over the years.
What was your biggest achievement?
When I graduated from Berklee College of Music, I opened my own music school in Boston, Wolfman School of Music, and we served as a prep school for Berklee and other college music programs. But I feel the greatest achievement is all the music careers we launched. Many of the students became quite successful and well-known recording and performing artists. Folk star Dar Williams, for one, Gary Hoey, for example. We also trained many students in my recording studio that went on to very successful careers as recording engineers and producers.
unique about the way you teach?
In a nutshell, I teach the way I always wanted to be taught: thorough, step-by-step, very personalized custom lesson plans. I also pride myself in being versatile, not only as a player, but as a teacher. Just about any style, any level of theory, I provide a huge array of techniques, concepts, and approaches for just about any individual student's needs and goals. I've developed dozens of different approaches to help my students grow and excel in the areas of soloing, comping, composing, performing, and applying what they learn directly to their instrument.
Thanks again, Bob. Great interview. Now I want to take lessons with you myself. I'm really impressed.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.